This game was basically over after the first 5 minutes.
He's got it. Throws the pass across. They score. Roy back in. Barbashev scores. Teddy Bluger hands it off and a backhand scores.
Welcome back to Aletius Sports Talk. I'm Enrique Aletius. We're going to talk about Game 3 reaction. I think that game was such a weird one. I felt like it was over after the first 10 minutes of the game, 5 minutes of the game. Once the Knights came out and they got that first goal, first shot, didn't seem like there was a whole lot, and they get a second goal. After that second goal, the whole place just seemed like it was deflated. They knew the Stars had to come out flying. They had to be the ones to get, I think, the first goal. They had to get the lead. They had to be the ones to kind of take control of that game, and they didn't, and I think the worst thing that could have happened for the Stars, well, first of all, this game just went from ugly to terrible, absolutely just miserable for the Stars, from everything from goaltending out and to the captain, Jamie Benn. You can't do that, man. You cannot do that. He's a guy that, like, I think he has that really, that side to him, a little bit of a, dirtbag side, but sometimes you need that, right? You need guys who have that edge to them, and they say it all the time, you need that fuck you in the game, and he has that in him. It just was not the best time to be doing, to cross-checking Stone in the face. Not a good time for him to do that. Not a good play, and I think it cost them. I don't know if it was the main reason they lost. I think there were a lot of things. What I'm going to start off with first, which I think was a big reason why they kind of went down here, was I think the goaltending. For someone who a lot of the analysts thought Jake Oettinger is the best goalie remaining out of all the teams, I have to say, I thought going into this round, East and West Coast, Bobrovsky was hands down the best. I think Oettinger had some inconsistent games. Of course, you can't forget about last year's play, but this time around in these playoffs, he's been good. I wouldn't say he's been consistently amazing, right? I think Bobrovsky, anytime he's been in net, he's been consistently amazing, at least throughout this playoff run. So you look at that, he had to have been their best player for the Stars to really have a chance in this. And this game, he was, I'll go out and say, I think he was the worst player. Just given the expectation of him, and it's hard. I don't ever want to be putting it always on the goalie, but those goals, like, those are so deflating, especially if you're in the position of the Stars and you're on the bench, and it just seems like first shot goes in. A couple minutes later, another shot goes in, and then you're down 0-2. And the Vegas Knights are such a good defensive team that, like, they already had trouble getting any traction in this game, any kind of offense going into this game, and now you're already down. Like, before you know it, it's like 3-0, right? It's 3-0, and then soon it becomes 4-0. He should have had a better game for the Stars to have a chance to win there. He didn't, and the Knights were able to, get off to an early lead, and they just didn't look back. And what's weird is the Knights didn't even have, like, the best offensive game. You would think if it's 4-0, you would think the shots are like 20-10 or 20-4 in favor of the Knights in the first period. And it wasn't. It was like, I think the Knights had 10 shots in the middle of the second period. The shot chart was like 10-12 in the middle of the second period. Also, if you look at how the Stars had chances, it wasn't like their chances were really even that great. The chances they had were not like prime scoring area in the slot, in the middle. The rebounds were cleared out really well. So the Knights did such a good job of clearing out second chances. There wasn't a whole lot. I don't think there was like a breakaway or anything like that. A lot of outside shots. All the shots Adin Hill was able to see. He played really well. I thought he did a good job. They just kept good. They kept good scoring chances away from Hill, and they allowed him to see the puck, which is huge in a situation like this. Bruce Cassidy didn't need Adin Hill to be making these insane, spectacular saves. They just needed him to make the saves he should make, and that's exactly what he did. I think the Stars now, as you look forward, this game, they didn't play with passion. They didn't play with grit. There was no pushback. It's definitely difficult, right, when you're down early and you got a bunch of guys on that squad there that don't have that experience. They're young, and that sometimes gives you, I hate to say like deer in the headlights. It didn't seem like they showed up, in a big way that they needed to for a game like this. You're down 0-2, you're at home, you you have a chance to make this a series now, make it 2-1, another home game, but I didn't see the Stars show up really. And PK Subban talked about in the panel there in the intermission was like, you don't have, the Vegas Golden Knights, there's no Reeves, they're not like the biggest team. They don't have any people who are like real true enforcers, I guess. And so the Stars, like, it's almost like, what are they waiting for? What are they afraid of? Just, get after them, play a little bit more physical. And I know it's not really their game as much, but they got to play a little more physical. And you have a team like the Knights who are such a good defensively minded team, and they can really shut down any really good offensive opportunities there. It's going to be really hard, to just rattle off 3 quick goals, or in the span of even the rest of the game, to rattle off those goals when they make a decision to say, all right, we got the lead, let's not push, and let's just kind of crowd in defensively, let's not let in any good chances and anything like that. So it's tough, and I just felt like as you were watching that game, there was nothing. It was flat. I think I felt like the game was just flat. The way that the Stars were moving, they weren't generating anything significant. There was no danger chances where you felt like, all right, they got a good, time on attack there. That one shift, they really put some pressure on, so now they can get momentum. There was none of that. You're gonna have to figure that out for next game. Otherwise, it's done. It's the sweep for them, and I think if the Stars are going to want to survive, they're going to have to change their plan up, or like do a better job of executing of what the original game plan was, because I don't know, in that game did not seem like they had anything going. You got to give Golden Knights the credit there. They played really well defensively. It was I hate to even say dominant performance by the Knights. I think a defensively dominant performance, but there was just nothing there for the Stars tonight. But Adin Hill played really well. You can't take anything away from him for sure. And we'll see what the Stars come back with. But even then, like, Vegas seem like they are ready to just make their way to the Stanley Cup Finals. They just seem like a team similar to the Panthers, right? They're a team that they're just rolling. And they you can tell they want it, right? They want to close it out. They want to do it quickly. They want to do it next game, and we'll see what happens then.